That said, our guest speaker, his topic this month is finish your year off with what? Momentum. And I hope you guys have been taking great notes. From Southern California, was an actor, also a bartender. I always call him the ACN go-to guy because he's always speaking from the stage, helping you everybody understand how simple our business is, but it does take commitment. And when you follow through with people, you'll get the momentum. Without further ado, Regional Vice President Platinum, the great Mr. Dean Tarrolly.
Good morning, everybody. Good to see you all. Hope everyone is well. Hope everyone is happy. It's that time of year, right? I know that Mr. Thomas was talking about there's a lot of people traveling right now. I know that there's some weather, people flying, people driving. Hope stay safe, be careful. Be careful, but not scared, right? Don't get behind the wheel scared. That's the worst thing you can do. But let's talk about some stuff, you guys. So I had messages and one from Mr. Thomas after the call last week. So I'm glad that struck a chord with what seems like, it struck a chord with some people. So I'm going to kind of continue on that same path. We're going to cover a couple things that we've covered this month and set up today. So first and foremost, you guys know my drill. Mr. Thomas, I appreciate you on behalf of everybody that plugs into your call, the fact that you do this with the energy that you do.
No, sir, we appreciate you.
Well, back at you. So, birds of a feather, I guess, right? It's amazing to me. One of the things that we talk about that, the people's success is hidden in their consistency, right? And you're so consistent. You're so consistent with this call and with the leaders and giving people goals and contests and challenges and all that kind of stuff. You guys, I hope you don't take Mr. Thomas's time in this call for granted. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about all the other leaders that he makes arrangements for you to hear from and get trained by. It's funny because I have some of the people on my team on this call. And quite frankly, I have people on my team that are not on this call. And this isn't even in my notes for today. And I got a bunch of notes for you guys for today, but let me just start here. Maybe this is a really, a really good place to start for a quick minute. You guys are going to be around a lot of people and have the opportunity, whether it's over Zoom or in person, face-to-face, belly-to-belly, shaking hands. Some of you might even be, hugging or holding out a hug for someone. You're going to have an opportunity to be in front of people. And it's really important when you have a vision on what you want your ACN business to do for you, to remember that a prophet is not welcome in their own hometown, right? And it's very difficult sometimes to talk about something that is so great, right? That you feel so strongly about, that it may fall on deaf ears, and not only deaf ears, they may fall on ears that would try to change your mind about the decision that you made. Let me tell you, and I've said this probably a year ago in one of our calls, and you can write this down if you want. Longevity equals credibility. The longer you can stay in this game, right? There is a credibility. Now, does longevity guarantee success? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That only comes from activity. But if you are still plugged in, it's got to say that there's something here. There's got to be something, because if there wasn't, you'd be off doing something else. Aisha, all I'm going to tell you is it looks like you have the coolest chair out of everybody on this call. I'm just saying, I don't know what that, you got that super Recaro recliner. That thing should be like in a Porsche. I'm just, whatever. There's a little, for those of you who understand the reference, squirrel. So maybe some of you will get that. I just had a squirrel moment. So, if any of you know Up. So anyway, so it's interesting, right? So you got to kind of guard yourself a little bit. And I would tell you, and I'm going to talk way more about this next week as we wrap up the call. I can't believe somehow I got 5 weeks with you guys this month. We're going to talk about this, this idea of being around people in kind of a festive atmosphere, especially around the new year, right? So, Mr. Thomas, I appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship, what you do for everybody. I think it's remarkable, and I think it's an example of some of the best things that can happen from doing this business and choosing to do it well, which obviously you've done for a really, really long period of time, and an example that you set for all of us. So, that being said, so we understand, you can't be a prophet in your own hometown, especially around this time of the year, especially talking business, right? You guys, please do not break out an ACN presentation at the dinner table, right? It's not the time. Do not go with the kids and the family are opening up their presents under the Christmas tree, and you decide to go, man, I got a present for you. I got an opportunity. Like, that is not the time. That is not the time to, to do that. You don't want even though it's a great movie, but Bill Murray and Scrooge, man, you don't want to have all those different ghosts of Christmas past and present and future, but we are going to actually talk about that. So, first week of the month this year, we talked about, the first week of this month, we talked about disrupting. And that idea was kind of born out of, this launch into impact and a disruptive industry, an industry that we could disrupt with a disruptive company that kind of changes things. But the disruption for you guys was disrupting your schedule, disrupting the norm, changing things so you could get a different result than what you've been getting. And you have to disrupt, you have to kind of shake up your, routine. And then the second week, I talked about this idea of stacking and not stacking customers. That is not how ACN works. In fact, it's illegal. You can't do it. It's against the rules. But what I did talk about is stacking appointments, stacking your skill set, right? But so now any number of things you can do, and you can do well within the ACN framework of what it takes to build this. Okay. And then the third thing we talked about was guarantees, right? That there are no guarantees. And I know some of you really like that coach, the strength and conditioning coach from Georgia Tech, the video that I showed. He said, here's what he said. And by the way, we're going to hear him again today. It's really good. It's really good. So here's what he said. He said, will you sprint when you don't see the finish line? And I thought about that leading into today. And you want to know what I think the answer is for most people is no. Why? Because they want a guarantee. And that's just not how this works. And until people can settle with that idea, right? Until they can settle with that understanding, it's a challenge. So where does that lead us to today? Disrupting, stacking, and guarantees. Where does that lead us to today? Well, here's where I think it leads us. There's 3 words, and here they are: did, are, and will. I see you might go, well, what's that about? Well, did, are, and will. So as we're kind of like going through this thing together, we're going through life together, we're going through this business together. And remember, you guys, this is a leadership call. This is trying to advance everybody's understanding of the things that the leaders that get to train that we think are important in building your business. So the 3 words are did, are, and will. And when I put this into context, you guys are going to all be like this. If everybody was a cartoon figure right now, there'd be a little light bulb that goes off over your head going, oh my God. Right. So here goes. Right. Here's what did, are, and will mean. So here goes. You write them down if you choose to. Commit it to memory if you want, but then I don't really know why you're on the call, because you're supposed to be like getting notes from this stuff so you can do these calls with people on your team in the future. I think that's kind of the secret sauce to this whole thing. So did, are, and will. Here goes. Ready? What did you do? What are you doing? What will you do? Okay. What did you do? What are you doing? What will you do? So this is really important because you got to know where you were to know where you are. And you certainly got to know where you were to know where you're going. So what did you do? So this is so simple. Watch this. This is third grade stuff. If what you did in the last week or the last month got you a result that advanced your business, right? I mean, there's a rep on your team. I mean, there's customers coming in your open line, not the regional director that you override, not all those points. Talking about what you're doing in your open, right? What did you do? Well, this is pretty simple to evaluate. If what you did got you a result, what do you think my advice would be to you? What should you change? Nothing. Don't change anything. Right? I have a couple of great business partners on this call. One in Washington, right? James, do more of it. What's up, James? Hey, you and I we were going to have a phone call last week. I think it was last week. Great lady up in the Pacific Northwest. Her name is Gayla. She's on this call. Guess what? She had reps join her team this last week. What should she do this week? What should she change? Nothing. Jody Standebeck, great business partner on the team. She had people join her team this last week. What should she change? Nothing. Keep doing what you're doing. Right? One of our regional directors on this call, Greg Williamson, he has a new younger team that he's working with, getting points, what should he change? Nothing. Keep working with them. Keep doing it. But if you look back and go, well, what did I do last week? Didn't really pique anyone. Didn't really get anything on the books. Okay. Well, then what you did needs to be evaluated and get to figure out as a leader, figure out what needs to change and when should it change? When should it change? Like today. Okay. So then here's the second one. What are you doing? I mean, you guys, there's so many ways to look at that. So I'm going to give you two. I'm going to give you two ways to look at what are you doing. Here's way number one. What are you doing? What are you doing? And then here's another one. Ready? Same words. Here's another way. What are you doing? What are you doing? So the first one is, what are you doing? The second one is, what are you doing? Well, the first one is probably, what are you doing? Like, dude, you got a lot going on. You got good things happening. You're going to this meeting. You got this Zoom. You have a customer meeting. You have, what are you doing? Like, tell me, I want to know what you're doing that's working. Well, the second, what are you doing is that person around the dinner table, that maybe it's yourself looking at you, go, dude, what are you doing? Why are you playing with this? What are you doing? Right? Almost like a brat. What are you doing? Like when you think of it that way, it's very revealing, isn't it? It's revealing because, oh God, I could open up a can of worms and a can of whoop, you know what right now, but I'm not gonna, but I could. Okay. When you ask yourself and really evaluate, what are you doing? Who's the most important audience that you have? Who is it? It's yourself. It's yourself. So I'm gonna pick on this, not pick on, I'm going to use one of our business partners without any details. I am going to tell you something that happened with one of our business partners just in the last couple of days. So Gayla up in Washington, and Gayla, don't worry, I'm not going to give any details. Gayla has been progressing her business. People have been joining. Some, by the way, people have been joining and people have quit. By the way, if you have nobody quitting your business, guess what? Your business isn't growing. Like, that's just a fact. That's a fact. Okay. That is a fact. So check it out. Gayla, her business is building. It's growing. She hit regional coordinator in a very short period of time, in approximately 2 months, maybe a little bit less, something like that, whatever it was. And she's doing great. Oh, by the way, she's a traditional business owner. She has clients coming in and out of her, patients coming in and out of her business every damn day. Right. But she's still building ACN. So we had a challenge with one of the services, and she adopted a philosophy that I've had for years when it comes to that in ACN. It's like you're building a house, and you're building a big house, and that's your business. And in the master bedroom during construction, there's a problem with the plumbing. Here's what most people do. They shut down the entire freaking site. Everybody go home. Nobody pick up a hammer. We're not doing a damn thing until that pipe gets fixed. And when it gets fixed and it's proved that it's fixed, then everybody come back to work. No house would be built. No business would be built. What Gayla did, hey, Dean, I need your help. I have this issue with this thing. And then we're back to building the other parts of her business. Leader. That's what a leader does, right? That's what a leader does. So I'm really proud of her. Like and that's something that she adopted. And by the way, it's a very easy adoption if you talk to people who are business minded. Hey, Gayla, I know your camera's on and I appreciate it. Hey, Gayla, in your traditional business, and you don't have to unmute yourself, just in your traditional business, you never have any problems with your traditional business, right? Everything goes smoothly. There's never an issue. Everything goes perfectly every day, right? Right. She shook her head no, and she's laughing because it doesn't work that way. But are your doors still open? Funny. Wait, hang on. Hold on. There's a concept. Let me think about this. So I almost said a really bad word. So crap can go wrong, but you stay open? Really? Really? Yes. That's what leaders do. So what did you do? What are you doing? Listen to me. You don't get paid on peaks. You don't look, by the way, don't get it wrong. We have to peak. We have to, right? But because you peak, someone does not pay you. Because you send a video, and I think that was one of Mr. Thomas's things, is sending a video. Do you guys understand what he's doing? Do you understand what Mr. Thomas is doing? He knows that you sending a video out does not get you paid, but he does know sending a video out gets you much closer to getting paid. Do you understand? Piquing someone's interest does not get you paid, but if you pique a lot of people, you're way closer to getting paid. Do you understand that philosophy? So the three things today, what did you do? Well, we covered that. And then we're covering what are you doing? And you have to really look at this, you guys. You know, I want to throw up. I want to literally physically throw up when I hear about how busy people are. It's like the go-to excuse for anything and everything. I'm too, you have no idea. The kids got us so. When I talk with my regional directors and some of my regional coordinators, when I'm talking with them, one of the things I'll talk about is the phrase "in spite of." So the three things for this week: did, are, and will. What did you do? What are you doing? What will you do? Okay, so think about this. When I talk to my leaders, and we just had another regional vice president jump on, RVP Ryan Ruiz. Awesome. Hey, Ryan. The word that I want you guys to phrase, and I don't typically train this stuff. This is stuff I do with my team, but it's fine, is I really do want you to write these three words down. So I feel like I've kind of given you everything I got. I'm emptying the tank with you guys. Like, and that is in spite of. It's such a powerful phrase. In spite of my schedule, in spite of the family, in spite of the kids, in spite of the bills, in spite of this, in spite of that, in spite of, I'm going to be in Southern California for the company's first emerge event of the year, January 21st. Wait a minute, you're getting a car and you're driving 7 hours of that thing? Like you've been to these events before. Well, clearly I haven't been to enough of them. Otherwise I would have a bigger team going. I need to be trained. I need to stay plugged in, right? Wait, you're jumping on a plane and then you're going to another one in March. Yeah. In spite of what you might think, I am going to be in a different position with this company by the end of this year. And I'm going to talk about that before we wrap up. So when you ask yourselves, what are you doing? I'm asking you guys to look at your business like a business. Did a customer sign up? Did a person sign up on the team? Those are two important questions. Why are those so important? Because those are the only two things that pay you. So now, let's go back to the beginning of the month. We talked about disrupting. We talked about stacking skills. We talked about what are my guarantees. And today it's did, are, and will. What did I do? What am I doing? And then the last one is what will you do? Well, this is important. What will you do this last week? 9 days. Do you guys understand something? 9 days is a third of the month. You guys, you have a third of the month. Now, some of you right now go, oh, we go, hold on a minute, Gene. That's not really true. You know, Hanukkah and, wrapping up and we got Christmas Eve and got Christmas Day. And of course there's Boxing Day and Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, you got all the stuff that goes, all that. Well, first of all, you don't live in England unless you're calling in from England. Then Boxing Day is in English. So anyway, so please, my point is this. Yeah, you have Christmas Eve, you have Christmas Day, right? Like I get it. So now that takes us down from 9 days to 7 days. What can you do in a week? What did you do this last week? Well, for some of you, I imagine probably not much. Holidays, like Al's saying, Al's going, like he's like probably not, some of you did. What are you doing? Today's a great day to do something. You know why? Because we have today. And then what will you do? So when you think about what will you do, I want to talk for a minute before I'm done with you guys, before I wrap this thing up, are the goals for 2023. I'm not giving you goals. I just want you to think about them for a minute. We're going to cover that next week, right? But just a couple things to think about. Listen to me, freaking listen up. What you do this week could set up this call for next week and completely change the trajectory and the dynamic for 2023. So here's a question for you guys. Here's a question. Do you know the services? Really? Do you really? Are you plugging into a call because you plug it, or do you really know them? Have you gone to ACN Compass? Have you gone to the back office? Have you clicked on the different, I'm sorry, not back office, ACN Compass products? They list all the products and there's training for every single product, every one of them. Have you gone there? Here's another one. Do you know the comp plan? Do you know the compensation plan? Really? Do you? Do you know how many points are for this and that? Do you know how the percentages work on how much of the bill you get paid on? What counts towards your billing? Do you know it? Here's what's crazy about a job, right? Let's talk about this for a second. Somebody put in the chat, because I don't know what it is, because I think it's different in different states, obviously. But whatever minimum wage is, somebody put it in the chat for a job. Doesn't matter what kind of job it is. And I'm not bringing the average down here. I'm just using this to make a point. What is minimum wage? There's got to be a national minimum wage. I'm sure that there is. Anybody know it? Nobody knows it? All right. Christine Blitz said 1650 and Bob Meyer said 975. So that's a different rate. So we're going to say $13 for the purposes of this conversation. We're okay. Jackie said $15. Okay. So let's say we'll make the math easy. Let's say $15. Okay, here goes. Ready? Here goes. In an 8-hour day, in an 8-hour day and you make $15 an hour in an 8-hour workday, which is the standard workday, how much do you make? 8 hours. 8 hours times $15. 8 hours times $15. Somebody go ahead and give me the number. I mean, I know it. $120. Thanks, Maria. How do you figure that out so fastly? Really simple. 15 times 8, 10 times 8 is 80. 5 times 8 is 40. Add them up, 120. Okay. So it's $120. Let's talk about it. Okay. How much thinking do you need to do about that comp plan? How much dissecting do you need to do about that comp plan? None. Zero. There's no figuring out the comp plan. If you make $15 an hour times an 8-hour day and it's $120 for the day, can you make more? You can't unless you get overtime. People go, whoa, but dude, I don't operate that way. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm in sales or I'm in this and I have a commission. Okay, great. Let's talk about your commission. Let's say it's 10% of whatever. So 15 hours a day times, here goes, watch this, 15 hours a day, or I'm sorry, 8 hours a day times $15, 120 hours. And you get 10% commission on whatever you're doing. And you sell $1,000 of, I don't know, whatever, juice behind the counter, lotion at Macy's, whatever, $1,000. 10% of 1,000 is how much? It's $100. So that's $220 for the day. Okay. $220 for the day. Okay. I'm not saying that's bad. And I am not judging. I don't operate that way, but let's talk about that. Is that $220 going to get taxed? Oh yeah. So then what's the mentality that people have? I'm going to take the least amount of deductions so I get the most back at the end of the year. Why do that? Why not take the most number of deductions, get the money back in your pocket so you can do something with it instead of leaving it in the government? That doesn't make any sense to me. That's just me. Al, am I speaking it? I mean, is this true? Okay, cool. So my point in sharing this with you is, the comp plan of a job that you have with a boss and a company that determines your hours and ultimately your income. Why in the heck would you not dive into ACN Compass, watch the comp plan training, read that document over and over and over where you're in control of that income? Why? Why? You're going to hear about this when I wrap up. You don't have to. You don't have to. So how much more effective will you be as a leader when you listen to this, listen up. How much more effective will you be as a leader in 2023 when you know these things in 2022? How much more confident will you be as a leader in 2023 when you know these things in 2022? So I'm going to give you another example from someone on the team. So these two ladies who I've been mentioning, Gayla and Jody. Jody texted me yesterday. I could show you the freaking text. I could show you the text from yesterday, not written because she didn't know what I was going to train on today. And she literally texted me. I said, so how's it going? She goes, just met with a few of the leaders. We are game planning for 2023. It's going to be sick. I did not tell her to do that. So you want to know the leaders that want to roll up their sleeves and go to work for the people on their team? What if you had those two ladies on your team? How excited would you be? By the way, I'm like that every day. I talk to them every day. I probably drive them crazy, but I'm like, they're going to do like you guys. I'm telling you, they're out there. Those people are out there. So did, are, and will. Please write those down. What did I do? What am I doing, or what are you doing? And what will you do? Will you will you break through a customer point threshold? Will you do that presentation? Will you peak that person that you've been saying you're going to peak? Will you? Well, when you can look at did, are, and will, and you can look at it objectively, and you can look at it as a businesswoman or a businessman, I'm telling you, you're on the way. Now, the question is, how prepared are you going to be for 2023? You have over a week to dive into ACN Compass, and at the same time, part-time folks, at the same time, building your business with phase 1 activity. Build your business with phase 1 activity. Right. Ryan just said, he goes, I always used to say, and I still do. He goes, well, we'll see. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. We'll see. I'm going to be here. You know why I'm going to be here? Because I've been here for over 15 years. Al's going to be here. You know why Al's going to be here? He's been in here. He's been in this thing for over 15 years. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. Hey, we'll see. We'll see. Trust me. We'll see. See, people can fib. People can lie, like about what they're doing. I talked to this person. I talked to that person. Da, 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 right. All the stuff that we see. And quite frankly, stuff we read on this Zoom. But you know who doesn't lie? You know who doesn't lie? The reports. I peaked 72 people. Really? You peaked 72 people. I looked at your business. You haven't had one new rep, and you have not had one new customer hit the books in a month. And you peaked 72 people. How many presentations do we have? So, well, no, nobody was interested. Out of 72? Okay, you didn't peak 72 people. You did in your head. By the way, peaking people that you see at a football game on a TV and looking at them does not count as peaking them. They can't hear you. I'm just telling you. So get on to ACN Compass this week, you guys, and be that prepared leader. Build 2023 starting right now. So you're the person that has confidence when you're talking to people about what we have to offer and how you get paid for getting customers and building a team offering the services that we have to offer. See, here's the thing. I'll wrap this up. You don't have to do this. You don't have to lead. You don't have to be prepared. You can observe. You can stay plugged in. You can feel connected with Mr. Thomas and the other leaders that do this call and the other days of the week and months that he has it. You don't have to. You don't. That's why we say this thing is a choice. Right? So I'm going to show you the second part of this strength and conditioning coach. And I'm a fan of this guy. His name is Louis Caralla. And I just think he's great. And here's hoping that you guys get something out of this. And then I'll just say a couple closing words and we'll be done. So here goes.
You guys need to understand what you don't have to do. You don't have to work hard. You don't have to eat right. You don't have to sleep right. You don't have to do more than what's required of you. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. But you also don't have to win. You don't have to be a success in life. So the greatest things in life take sacrifice and discipline. And that's why so few people achieve great things. Because they don't want to sacrifice, they don't want to discipline for something greater. So you see all these people that have great things in life that you look up to, it's because they were sacrificed and disciplined long before you ever knew them.
So they sacrificed and they were disciplined long before you ever knew them. So what does that mean? A lot of parties coming up, it's an opportunity to meet people and network. Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you prepared when that opportunity presents itself? I think that sacrifice and discipline, and believe me, some people need some discipline. I mean, for real. But I think those are probably two of the best gifts that any of us can give ourselves. Yeah. It's the spirit of giving, right? It's the season of giving. So give yourself a chance to do something really big and win big here. I think that, I think it's important. And I think how you're going to feel about yourself and what you're doing, is going to shine through. But you guys have whatever, 8 or 9 days here. Let's call it 7 days with Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Get yourself prepared to win. You know, Jimbo Fisher is a coach at Florida State. He said something at walking off a big comeback. I talked about this 2 years ago on Al's call. Big comeback in this game. And he goes, you don't win. You guys listen to this, please. You don't win because you want to. You win because you train to. And are you training yourself to win? And you're the only one who knows the answer to that question. We can only guide and try to help that process. So, want to wish you all a very, very, very Merry Christmas. I hope you guys have a great time with your family and your loved ones. You know, maybe reach out to some people, because I can promise you this: if there's someone out there that you know, that you're missing, I can guarantee you that someone's missing you. And what a great way to be able to reach out to someone and just let them know that you're thinking about them. All this stuff that we do is great. Those relationships are the most important, but I hope that you guys take this window of time seriously. You can advance your business pretty significantly the last week of the year, by simply getting yourself ready, and don't prepare to win, so you can use the things that you're learning to have your confidence level at a place that is going to be very attractive to be in business with you. It's going to be very attractive to run with you. And some people are going to think that because of what you did over this week. So, Mr. Thomas, appreciate the opportunity to speak with everybody. Hope you guys, hope it was helpful. And obviously, Mr. T, you and your family, hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. So turn it back to you.
Mr. Dean Tarrolly, we want you and your family to have a Merry Christmas. I was looking at